The Maple Leafs come away with a big 2 points in their back-to-back as Scott Laughton continues to make his mark. Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Leafs. Rob Wong joined alongside by Toronto Sun Maple Leafs writers Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan. And safe to say, guys, Monday night went a lot better than Tuesday night for the Maple Leafs, who lost the second half of their back-to-back pretty convincingly in Utah. But Terry, their 4-3 overtime victory in Colorado had to be one of their signature wins of the season. What did you make of that victory? And looking back now, what did you learn, if anything, about this Leafs team?
Well, it was the signature win of the season. I don't think anything compares to it. You go in, you beat a team in overtime that had lost 2 games on home ice all year. Still have it in regulation, so there's that. But, the best team in the National Hockey League, you do it after traveling the day before, altitude, all these sorts of things. And I just thought it was really impressive top to bottom that the Maple Leafs were able to beat the Avalanche at home. I think going into this, Lance and I were talking last week for the Leafs on the road, and basically you're kind of giving up that first one, I think, and then, okay, you go from there and kind of assume the worst going into Colorado, but why not? I mean, like we say, the Avs have been so dominant at home, and the Leafs' road record hasn't been good. So, kudos to them. They played a really tight game that night for the most part. There were mistakes, but you're going to make them against people like Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon, and Marty Netchkash, and it's going to end up in your net. But they prevailed. Joe Wall was excellent. And, last night I think you kind of flushed it as much as you were happy with what happened in Colorado. But, yeah, full marks to them. And, they get another crack at the Avs here in a couple of Sundays in Toronto. So fully deserving for it for sure. But definitely their statement one of the year in my mind.
I think it's a good indication that this is a team that was not as bad as they looked early on. And they've certainly had some knocked off some decent opponents recently. Florida earlier on in Tampa Bay. So it underlines a little bit of what this team can do when they put their minds to it. Now they've had a half year to coalesce without Mitch Marner, getting used to some injuries. That's been an impressive thing too, is that they've been doing, that they've got themselves back into this playoff race despite a lot of injuries. Goaltending goes a long way to do it. Certainly you had Joseph Wall playing a heck of a game, and with the exception of the Utah game, Hildeby's been really good as well. And now they got to work some people back in the lineup in the coming weeks. But it was a signature win, and now they have to continue that with beating the teams they should beat, and that is the secret, obviously, to building on this playoff spot that they have got back into. And it's a very, very hectic month, and they also have Edmonton coming up as well, and another long road trip. The work's not over, but they should feel really good about themselves coming off that Colorado game.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, as Terry said, maybe their signature win of this season. Meantime, Scott Laughton, Lance, has been getting a lot of praise recently, and deservedly so. What has impressed you about his game now that it seems like he has found his footing in Toronto?
Well, there's a lot of people who wanted to, give Brad Treliving a lot of heat for making that deal last year. Let's remember that both him and the Carlo deals, those were inflated prices, but everybody was playing those. The trade market's always inflated at deadline time, and they cast their lot there, for lack of a better word, and didn't quite work out in playoffs. But I think now you have a guy who's was top 6 where he was. Craig Berube's very famous for finding a hole for guys who have who might be top 6 talent but can fill a role elsewhere. And you've seen this guy have an effect, I think, in the dressing room and out, whether it's controlling the music or just keeping things tight. And Austin Matthews, for everyone saying he's a not a demonstrative captain and doesn't do this or that in terms of visible leadership, I'm sure he has a lieutenant like Laughton helping in that regard as well.
I'd hate to take any of the shine off what Laughton's doing, but he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing when they acquired him last year. And Lance, it's true, inflated prices, but that doesn't mean you can't hold up your end of the bargain. In Laughton's case, he didn't do that last season. He said as much. Came to camp with a bit of a burr under his saddle, and then had the foot injury right at the end of preseason there that kept him out for quite a bit to start. So he's providing what the Leafs thought he would provide when they traded for him last March. Never too late, of course. He's going to be an important piece for the team going forward here. And like Lance alludes to, it's not just the face-offs and things like that, as important that as they are. He's around 60% right now, but the off-ice guy, I think he's really found a good role that way. And again, he acknowledged that the first time being traded, it took him a while to kind of integrate himself once that deal was made. And players feel better about themselves when they are contributing. And it took him a while to get going, like we say. But like I said, he's doing what he should be doing. I still think the pressure's there a bit because you do give up a first-round pick and a prospect in Grbenkin to get him. So you have to keep producing. And they're going to need him down the stretch here. They're still coming off a few injuries and that, and Dakota Joshua and now Nick Robertson up front. They have to get past those, but Laughton's a guy that can be a real glue person for them. And they miss him in Philly for good reason. But I think he can be a real cog for the Leafs going forward. And if, the Leafs do manage to secure a playoff spot into the postseason beyond mid-April. So good on him. It took a while to get to the level that he wanted to be, but we're seeing now how effective he can be when he's at his best, and certainly the Leafs are better off for it.
I'll just add quickly that Berube was asked the other day about strength down the middle, and he said he's very, very confident and happy where they are in that when you consider Matthews is back, Tavares, Nicholas Waugh, and now Laughton. That is a pretty good lineup down the middle.
Yeah, I'd put, real quick, I'd put Waugh in the same category as Laughton. Slow for whatever reason to get going with the Leafs, but really doing a good job now. And like Lance says, a real backbone type player that the Leafs are going to need down the stretch here to be at the top of his game.
Yeah, both guys have been huge for the penalty kill, and so is Mitch Marner, who is coming up next year on this road trip for the Maple Leafs as they head off to Vegas on Thursday night. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. For Terry Koshan and Lance Hornby, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you on the next one.